What's going on, everybody? Devore and Shake Money. G Money is running a little bit behind schedule. This is the Not for Debate podcast. We are live on YouTube and Facebook. Be sure to go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe button, and most definitely share. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, and all other major platforms. Today, we are joined by our Dallas Cowboys representative, Joe Machado. What's going on, man?
What's going on with you? How you
Glad
doing?
glad to have you back on such an epic episode of Not for Debate.
Thank you.
Also, I did want to put out a special shout out because today is our co-host Banks of America's birthday. Hopefully, he can bless us with his presence after he's doing whatever he is doing. But for Banks' birthday, everybody hit that like button. Don't matter if it's on Facebook, don't matter if it's on YouTube, but everybody go ahead and hit that like button for Banks for his birthday. Shake, excuse me, I was about to say Banks. You good, man?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, so I'm gonna put out.
You won't see my ugly face till Saturday.
Okay, I'm gonna put out a warm-up debate real fast. I know Shake, you and Havoc have probably referenced Coming to America quite a few times over the course of the podcast that we have had. 3 movies came out over the past 2 weeks. You have the Tom and Jerry movie, the Coming to America 2 movie, and Judas and the Black Messiah movie. Joe and Shake, have you guys watched all 3 of those movies?
No, I have not seen none of them.
You haven't seen none of them. Oh, man. Shake, what about you? I know you said you saw Coming to America 2, but you didn't see Judas and the Black Messiah?
No, I never even heard of it until you guys were talking about it.
Oh my gosh. I finally watched it. Yesterday for the first time. That movie it's freaking amazing. Like, me personally, when it comes down to like Black history, and we're just gonna put the microscope over the Black Panthers, to be honest with you, my knowledge as far as the Black Panthers are concerned is like extremely minimum. So really wasn't very educated on the Black Panthers, but I give the movie 2 thumbs up. But considering the fact that you actually did watch Coming to America 2, let me hear your opinion on Coming to America 2 without exactly putting out any spoilers.
First of all, let me give you my my knowledge of the Black Panthers.
Okay,
if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
They were a group that didn't come around because they wanted to be a Black supremacy group like how everybody else was doing. They became around out of necessity, because the police brutality was getting so out of hand that they had to form because nobody was defending the black people at that time. So they became one of those. They kind of like, and they also policed themselves as well. You know what I mean? So it was a very positive group that, unfortunately, because of the media, has been spin off to make people think it was a Black supremacy group when it isn't. Which I think it was, to me, a Black police, in my opinion. That's what my knowledge was of the Black Panther.
That's a pretty fair assessment of the Black Panthers. I'm inclined to agree with that, to be completely honest with you. I will probably say more of like the Robin Hood for the Black community, if you get what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. But they didn't rob. They were protecting. They made sure.
Yes, protecting.
They weren't
yes.
They weren't trying to take nothing. They just wanted their equal rights.
Yes, exactly. Robin Hood without the stealing part and giving back to the poor, but looking out for fellow Blacks in the community, trying to get them to support the cause as far as fighting for equality for Blacks around the United States, in a sense. So,
yeah,
Coming to America
and,
too.
And one last point is it got so powerful that even James Brown cut his perm and grew an afro around that time.
Really?
That's how powerful it was. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't even know that.
But Coming to America, I saw it for what it was worth. Okay. I don't care what kind, who wrote it or how you wrote it. It was too late to try to make something that was going to be make sense or comparable. This, I don't think, was trying to make sense. It was just trying to be funny. It was, to me, it was a nostalgia film to anybody who grew up in the 80s and the 90s, and it brought in a new flair, kind of like Batman Morales, if you know what I mean. Something for the old and the new to enjoy. That's how I took it.
That's a fair assessment. Because I was just looking at some of the people in the comment section, on whether it be Facebook or Twitter, just reviewing the movie. A lot of people were not very happy with the movie as far as the hype. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Now, me personally, I understand what the message is in the movie. I feel like that was very, very pivotal, especially the day and age that we're living in right now. Especially now that we're trying to get women more involved in sports media and in sports, as far as coaching is concerned. Mm-hmm. So I felt like Black Panther 2 came out at the right time. Now, like the acting list was phenomenal. Like you saw Wesley Snipes in there, you saw Rick Ross in there, you saw who's the comedian? Man, what's that comedian's name?
Which
Michael
one?
Blackson. Michael Blackson. Yeah, Michael Blackson's in there. Tiana Taylor's in there. Like you brought back a lot of old actors and actresses from the first Coming to America movie. So me personally, I'm
Trevor Noah.
Oh yes, Trevor Noah was in there too as well. He was the oh, excuse me, I'm spoiling it for other people. But Trevor Noah was in there. But as far as the movie, as far as reviewing it in general, I'm kind of like in the middle as far as in a neutral ground when it comes to if I liked it or not. I'm just like, look, it was Coming to America. I wasn't really hype about the movie coming out. I enjoyed the first movie, but at the same time, really, what are we expecting from a second movie? You know what I'm saying? What can you really expect to, like, blow the audience away?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just my take on Black Panther 2. But I saw all three of the movies. To be honest with you, if I was to judge all three of them, I think Judas and the Black Messiah, that movie's a classic. I think that movie is definitely going to be in the running to win. Excuse me, the actor that played the main character, man, I cannot remember his name. I just had it up on my screen. He's definitely going to be
the British guy or the American guy.
The British guy. Well, what's his name?
Daniel something.
It's Camus or something like that. It's like yeah. It's By the way, welcome G Money into the pod. I'm gonna Google it up right now. Man, what is his name? It's Daniel Kaluuya. That's his name, Daniel Kaluuya. Now, over the past 5 years, he's been putting out some pretty good classic movies. Like, I believe his main hit was probably, we'll put him on the stage, was probably, I want to say, Get Out in 2017 was his main movie that put him in that audience, and then he started putting out some pretty good performances after that, especially like those.
There's a movie of him and the British guy and the black lady from that show. What's the name of that movie? Viola Davis and what's his name? The guy from Taken. He was in that movie too. He had a small role, but it was a
Liam
good role.
Neeson.
Yeah, Liam Neeson. That's his name. Yeah, got the name of that movie.
Okay, so like just him just putting out strong black roles over the past 5 or 6 years, like he's been in the running for Academy Award. And I think if he hasn't won one already, off the top of my knowledge, I can't think if he did or not. This might be one of his best performances because I've sat down and I've watched pretty much all the movies that he's been in over the past five or 6 years. By the way, what's going on, G Money?
What's up, man?
G Money,
how you doing, Joe?
All right.
By the way, he's a Philly fan. G Money is so.
Yeah.
he's gonna have to sit back. In the spectator seat this year. But let's go ahead and get into the main topic of discussion over the past 2 or 3 days, right?
Before you do that, I just want to say I have an analogy with Coming to America. My expectations for Coming to America was like having lunch with a friend that I haven't seen since middle school. You know what I mean? I expected to be nice, but I wasn't gonna be like, holy crap, damn, we should do this again. No, you know what I mean? So it's just like I said, it's just a nostalgic factor.
So you don't think there should be a Coming to America 3?
I'll watch it, but it's like part 2. I wasn't expecting it to happen.
You know, and I think maybe they waited too long to do the second movie.
I agree.
I agree with that.
I definitely agree.
Just like Dumb and Dumber 2.
Was it Dumb and Dumber 2 like a prequel?
No,
I think it was 3
but there was
movies.
another one, Dumb and Dumber, even Dumber or something like that, where the kid had a child or something like that, where one of them had a kid.
Yeah. Don't give me. I don't even think I even watched that one, to be completely honest with you.
Okay.
It wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth
it. Yeah.
Okay, I got you. All right. So the topic of discussion over the past two days is Dak Prescott getting his contract extension, which, wow, I thought I ended up saving it, which ended up being a 4-year, $160 million contract, which does not have a franchise tag or trade clause. He has 2 record-breaking details in this deal, which is $126 million guaranteed and the $66 million in the signing bonus. Now, the final 2 years of the contract, which because technically it's a 6-year deal, is going to be voided. Is void. Now, the contract can also reach up to $164 million based off of performance. Now, Joe, you're the Dallas Cowboys fan. I'm going to go ahead and add this in here. If the Dallas Cowboys decide to cut him before June 2023, they can save $31 million in cap space. Excuse me. Now, I know a lot of people were extremely upset. Well, mixed feelings. I have mixed feelings, but let me go ahead and ask you, G Money, first, since you're the Dallas Cowboys fan here. How do you feel about the contract?
Wrong. Joe is a Cowboys fan. Let him go first.
Oh, excuse me. I thought I said Joe. My bad, Joe. I'm gonna let you go ahead and go first, man.
Yeah. I'm happy that he got his money because now we could put it behind us. And the bad thing about it, you know, I look at it from a business standpoint, and I see how a lot of other organizations are being ran. And you know, when guys take that money like that, you know, you kind of take off a lot of things on the table. And, you know, Dallas would have to draft well now, which they don't really seem to have a problem with drafting. But yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. I'm lying. They
did a fairly decent job.
To me, they have a problem with the secondary. They never find that right guy in the secondary. Like,
yeah,
it's always the secondary. Like, you could find something on the defensive line. They could find something in the linebacking core, you know. And then when it just comes down to the secondary, it's like it's always a flop right there. They've drafted there. They went through free agency there. and it just never works. I mean, who was our last good corner? What, Deion Sanders?
What about Anthony Henry or Terrence Newman?
Let's not talk about Terrence Newman. Anthony Henry. I can't even remember that guy, but yeah,
And Roy Williams.
and Roy Williams.
Byron Jones.
Byron Jones. You see, we let him go. Obviously, we let him go because of money. But again, I'm not saying Byron Jones was a good talent, and because of trying to have to pay Dak and all that other stuff, we had to let something go, and that's going to be our future. You see, we let people go without even signing Dak, so this is going to be our future for the next few years. I mean, if you ask me, I mean, a lot of people I've heard say they don't want this, but I think we should trade Amari Cooper.
You know what? I was going to save this a little bit later. Hold that thought, though. Hold that thought. But G Money, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go next.
Okay, so I think that for him, I'm never against somebody, getting their money, get paid. But I think that people should take that. Not that he's Tom Brady, but take the Tom Brady mode. You know why the reason why Tom Brady wins every year is because he takes pay cuts so the team can build around him. Now you spent all this money on Dak and you can't really do anything else. So yeah, you signed him, great, but you're gonna suck next year because you have a potential to be bad next year because you didn't add any players to him. You could have signed him to a lesser contract. You could have tagged him, or maybe you could trade him. I don't know, but I just think that for the Cowboys organization, he unintentionally strong. Like it's going to be hard for them to be relevant. Yes, they got their quarterback for the future, but can they do anything else? Can they add more pieces to him? Can they, it's going to be hard. So drafting is their best bet, like Joe said. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I want you to let this sink in. Next year, Tom Brady is making $25 million.
Mm-hmm. Let it sink in because Tom Brady has been making that for most of his career. And then the man has 7 championships. I've said this a lot of times to people. The NFL is a copycat league, but for some reason, that's the only place that nobody wants to copy. I mean, when the Dolphins broke out the Wildcat, everybody started doing the Wildcat from Little League all the way to the pros. Everybody was doing the Wildcat, So for why isn't that strategy really copied and duplicated like that? Like you have all these guys out here just money, and then all of a sudden you can't win. You're just sitting up there. You're getting all this money. I get it, but I mean, I guess that's what we're here for. I mean, I hear all the time, I'm here to win a Super Bowl, but no, you're not. You're really here to try to get as much money as you can. Mm-hmm. Because that's what it is. Because everybody's always looking for the big payday, and every year it's a brand new highest paid something.
Can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
If you got signed by a team, would you take the lowest amount possible to play for that team?
Now, see, that's a tricky one because it depends on. Now, look, let's be honest. We all know nobody's going to take less. We know that. I won't take it. You won't take it. Whatever. At the end of the day, but if you know you're sitting up there, if you're sitting up here 6-7 years down the line, and you already done got paid a couple of times, and now I want to win. So now what? I mean, I think I would take that pay cut. Somewhere down the line, you're going to take a pay cut, whether you got it in the beginning or whether you're going to get it on the back end later on. Somewhere down the line, you're going to take a pay cut. But obviously, if that opportunity is there to get that max contract, take it.
Do you agree with that?
In Prescott's, I think in Prescott's defense, I would take it. Like, why would I not take it? I'm still young. I could still win later. I mean, it's a bad way of thinking you want to win now, but I would take the money if I was him. I just think for the Cowboys, for him, that was great. Get the money, but for the Cowboys, it was not great.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me go ahead and break this down to y'all real fast as far as this contract is concerned. So, probably one of my biggest issues before I actually looked at the contract was Dak Prescott coming into the 2021 season, him coming off the leg injury, we don't know exactly how he's going to perform. And I alluded to earlier, they can get off of that contract after in the 2023 season if they wanted to, if he doesn't play up to the standard. Now, 2021, his base salary is going to be $9 million. They ended up spreading out the signing bonus where he's going to be making $13.2 million in 2021, and the guaranteed money is going to be $9 million. So in total, he's going to be making $22 million for the 2021 season. Now, when you hit 2022, that's when you're going to end up making the $33 millions, and then 2023, that's when you end up hitting that big money where he ends up making about $44 million in $44 million. So with that being said, they're open to do some things in 2021. But me personally, going back to the whole money situation, if it's me, I'm going to try to take as much money as I possibly can, because the NFL stands for not for long. So Dak Prescott, I'm pretty sure he knows, like, look, I got injured on the franchise tag. Leading up to this point, he's only made like what, a couple million?
A total, and probably $4 million.
Yeah, in total. So come on now, like, it's his payday. You got to look at it from two different perspectives.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he don't deserve it. He deserves it. Give it to him. But at the end of the day,
I don't know if he deserves it.
You could have given this to him earlier, and it wouldn't have been so much right now. You know, because you hesitated. This is like that person trying to squeeze that last bit of toothpaste up out of the tube. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Jerry was trying to do, and Dak ended up winning. Because if not, what you're going to do? You're going to let Dak walk, and then what you're going to be left with? Andy Dalton? You know what I'm saying? So you had to pull that trigger because there was nothing out there. You're not in position to draft. And I think that was another holdup. They probably were making phone calls to try to get higher into the top 10, because we're number 10 right now. So they probably was looking to go a little bit higher. Probably couldn't make a move to try to grab one of these quarterbacks. And, you know, here we go. Let's go. You got to pay the man, because if Dak walks, you know, Dak is coming for you.
Wait, let me ask you a question, Joe. 1 second, Vor. Let's say he doesn't perform in 2 years. So when 2020 hits, are you trading him to save that money? Or are you releasing him? What would you do?
If he does, so basically, if he's going to be Carson Wentz in 2 years, is what you're saying? No shade. I'm just saying, but we don't see Carson Wentz go from.
Sure.
I mean,
it's okay. It's okay.
I'm just saying he's the only one I've seen go from. He's the only one I've seen go from, you know, this top-notch guy, and then all of a sudden he just fell off, like his decision making. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about. My thing is, yes, if he goes and not just that, like, you know, Jared Goff too.
Carson got a ring, so I ain't worried about it.
Yeah, but he didn't win it. But okay, but that's fine. But So yes, if he does decline like that, if he does go into a decline, then yes, trade him if he goes into a decline.
Okay. Did you? Oh, Shake left.
Okay.
There you go. I think that's him.
Now, my question is to you: like, you really don't think that you guys could have ended up drafting a quarterback in this year's draft?
We could, but man, they got to go through a lot of other things. I mean, right now we're going through a whole new defensive coordinator. I don't understand why Dan Quinn is there, but I mean, he's the best at defense for himself, because as far as being a head coach, we saw what happened to the Atlanta Falcons, and one of our wins came off of Dan Quinn, which was bogus. So we basically got him fired, and now he's hired by us.
All right, so I'm about to read you the top 10.
Hey, by the way, hold on, let me say something. I just want to bring up 2 points. Number one, look at how what's his name? Todd Bowles is doing in Tampa, and look how Vance Joseph is doing in Arizona. They're both head coaches. They failed, and they went back to being Wade Phillips. Look at Wade Phillips. When they went back to being defensive coordinator, they did well because that's all they have to focus on now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So Dan Quinn, I think, is going to be a good defensive coordinator, just like Matt Patricia will be a good defensive coordinator for New England again.
But at the end of the day, I think anybody could be a defensive coordinator with the Dallas Cowboys, especially with the guy that we had this past season. So,
hey, don't hate on Mike Nolan. Mike Nolan is a
Mike
phenomenal
Nolan
defensive
Mike
coordinator.
Nolan had no idea what was happening.
He's a phenomenal defensive coordinator.
Not for us. He wasn't.
Well, it must be a Dallas Cowboy
Exactly,
problem.
because you know why? Because remember what I said. We have no secondary. It's always our secondary that got bombed. Every play, no matter how hard or fast you was running, I seen Deshaun Jackson downfield. How old is that guy?
Too for not.
How old is Deshaun Jackson? And he's out here burning our defense, man. Deshaun Jackson. You know what I mean? Deshaun Jackson has always kicked our butt. Every year. Like when he was in Philly, his early days, he always did damage to us. Then he comes back to Philly, and I'm like, oh, maybe he's not the same anymore. And what do you know? They just throw it out there, and guess what? Dallas defense is nowhere to be found. It don't matter. Just throw it.
I got the top 10 picks right now. You have the Jacksonville Jaguars sitting at number 1. Obviously, they're taking the quarterback, but keep in mind too as well that Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson could take an effect on how these top 10 picks go. But you got the Jags, the Jets, they're taking a quarterback. The Dolphins, there's a possibility they may end up taking a quarterback. The Falcons, possible. So at that point,
the Falcons better.
Yeah, it's a possibility. Like the Eagles, it's a possibility. The Lions is a possibility. The Panthers is a possibility. Broncos is a possibility. So all these teams within the top 10 are all possibilities of picking a quarterback in the first round.
And all those teams you mentioned were top 10?
Yeah, Jags, Jets, Dolphins, Falcons, Bengals, Eagles, Lions, Panthers, Broncos.
Right, and then we're number 10. So, nah. I mean, if every one of those guys, without a Russ move or maybe a Cam Newton pickup, if New England moves on, which I think they are, all these guys, all those guys would draft a quarterback.
Okay, well, let me ask you this question now. As far as Dallas Cowboys offensive contribution since Dak's rookie year, would you say that Dak deserved this amount of money compared to other offensive players on the Dallas Cowboys?
I don't think Zeke deserved his.
What?
Zeke went into a decline soon as he got it.
We could agree on that.
We could sit up here and say it's the offensive line and all that other stuff, which I talk about that a lot on why his problems. But let's talk about the fumbling. The offensive line has nothing to do with holding on to the ball. You're going to run into a bunch of traffic. You're a big dude. Guys are coming to hit you. Guys are coming. They're coming with some serious intentions for you because you're a big guy. So because you're a big guy, you got to be able to hold on to the ball and protect the ball. And last season was the most that he's ever fumbled in a year.
Now, do you think, because I did watch quite a few Dallas Cowboys games last year, do you think if Zeke would have probably eliminated a handful of those fumbles?
Wait, it's starting to do that stuttering thing again. I can't really hear what you're saying.
Oh, you can't hear me?
It's like I hear you, but it just stutters like da-da-da-da-da-da every time you talk.
Oh,
there we go. Now you good.
Okay, so if how many times did Zeke fumble? Was it like 8 times, something like that?
Probably. I mean, yeah, he's fumbled quite a few.
Okay,
in a year, right? This year.
Yeah, so there were games of the Dallas Cowboys. They were well in them, and Zeke would just have a fumble and just put the opposing team in great field position for them to end up taking the lead. Now, do you think if you would eliminate a handful of those fumbles, do you think the Dallas Cowboys probably would have had a whole lot more wins on their record in the 2020 season?
I mean, whole lot more, but possibly just because what he was one game away from the playoffs.
Yeah, something like that. But like if memory serves me correct, probably the most recent game off the top of my head that I'm thinking about right now was probably the one against the Washington football team on Thanksgiving, where you ended. Anybody remember that game? Everybody watched that.
Yeah,
game.
Dak. I mean, without Dak and Zeke, Zeke not being able to do like they both complement each other. So it's like we've seen the team. Like, have we really seen the team without Zeke?
Yeah, we have. 2017, no playoffs. Dak was healthy.
Okay, and then we've seen them without Dak.
See, I don't feel like that's a fair assessment, though.
No, but I'm saying that's what I'm saying. They complement each other because Dak is going to be as successful as he can be if you can get the running game together. Without the running game, we just seen Ben Roethlisberger sit up there and throw 50 to 60 times a game.
I don't know. I think I've had to disagree with you on that, bro. Because if you just limit some of those turnovers that Zeke had, you think they do complement each other? Can you hear me now?
I hear you.
I think they do. Yeah, I think they do complement each other.
Because I feel like
you see what happened with Tannehill has to throw more than 30 times.
That's any quarterback though. But my thing is though, like by you saying that they complement each other, I feel like any quarterback could be back there and Zeke would be successful. But not this Zeke that we saw this year because we saw a serious decline in Ezekiel Elliott.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like you gave Andy Dalton a lot of heat for issues that weren't his fault. Like we talk about the Dallas Cowboys as far as the offensive line, they weren't 100% healthy during the course of the 2020 season either. The defense was bombs away, like you said, where they was 32nd in stopping the run, or bottom 5 in stopping the run. I don't even know what they were as far as pass defense is concerned, but I'm pretty sure it's in the bottom half of the league as well. So, like, do we really want to make that statement now that Dak Prescott is complimentary to Zeke?
I mean, we have yes, because you put Andy Dalton back there and Ben DiNucci, and they still didn't do nothing.
I just told you the stat line on defense. Defense plays a big part.
Right, it does. But the offense still has to score. The offense still has to score. The offense production, the numbers was lower, and everything was lower ever since Dak went out. Andy Dalton, who was a starting quarterback before,
by the way, Zeke had 6 fumbles last year. 6. So if he would have
on the opposing side of the field, so those 6 fumbles end up putting the opposing team in perfect field position to score.
Mm-hmm.
So really, how are we really going to put all that on Andy Dalton? And another thing, what was the Dallas Cowboys record before Dak got hurt? I'm pretty sure it was sub 500.
1-3, yes.
1-3. So really, are we going to blame Andy Dalton? Shake?
No, I'm not putting everything all on Andy Dalton.
I was talking to Shake because I knew where he was going with it. But go ahead.
Oh, okay.
I could.
I'm just saying that they complement each other, and not just that them two personally. Okay, it's just like the game itself. We know you run the ball, play good defense, you have a good chance at winning games. Well, guess what the Cowboys' problem was? They couldn't run the damn ball,
and they turned the ball over.
They couldn't play defense.
So
you couldn't play no defense. You're right.
It didn't even matter who was there because, like before Dak's injury, they were 1-3. So hell, and even the game that Dak got hurt in, I believe the Cowboys won that game. So they were 2-3, and then, so it's like
I don't count that.
I know, but
I do.
No, No,
Yeah.
Dak gets credit for the start, but who led
Just
the
like,
Dallas Cowboys to victory because they were behind? Am I right,
well,
Joe?
Uh-huh.
Okay, who led them to victory? Shay?
Zeke, right?
No,
well, I guess
No,
Matt
it
Moore
was
gets the,
it
the, the
was the
credit for the
redhead.
Arizona game.
it was the redhead.
it
It was the
was Chucky.
redhead.
It was the most expensive backup quarterback last season.
If y'all would have had a better supporting cast around y'all, he would have took you to the
Let me tell
playoffs.
you, man. I believed in Andy Dalton because, like I said, he was a starting quarterback. And it's not like he was out of the league for a few years and whatever, and then comes back or whatever, or he came off of a big time injury and he's coming to a new team. And no, there was nothing of that nature. Cincinnati said, "Listen, we're going this route, whatever." Jerry Jones decided to go ahead, and I don't know why he decided to put that much money out there for a backup quarterback. Because if Dak would have never got hurt, then this man would have get paid all his money to sit there and get paid for what? So it's like Jerry said it today during the press conference. He overpays for everything. He said that. That's what he does. So
he damn sure does.
He overpays for everything because he said somebody told him when he first bought the Dallas Cowboys, he overpaid for that. That's what they told him. So, I mean, he told the story today during the press conference of Dak's new deal.
Okay, so going back to your bold prediction as far as the Dallas Cowboys getting rid of Amari Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
I see. I agree that the Dallas Cowboys will get rid of somebody that's high priced. Actually, multiple players. Actually, now let's listen to my theory here because I have Kyle Vander Esch on that list. I also have Tyron.
Is he a rookie? He's a rookie though.
No, he's on a rookie deal.
Yeah.
Rookie deal. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. He's on a rookie. That's what I said. He's a rookie contract.
But you can save.
So what you saying is not gonna really affect anything? Is that what
but at the same time, you're saving money because you don't have to. If you get rid of them, you don't have to pay them.
Right. So you can save, I think it was like 12, 13 million if you don't bring him back after 2021.
Right, because it's not like he was a scrub, so he's gonna want some check.
Yeah, he's gonna want a fat check. So you can it's a possibility you could kiss him goodbye. Now, Tyron Smith, your left tackle, the consistency of injuries, I could see the Dallas Cowboys moving on from him. You bought up Amari Cooper. You have depth there, but Michael Gallup's contract is coming up pretty soon. So you're just going to have to turn around and give out another major contract if that turned out to be the case. Now, only logical player that I could see that you could that's obvious that you could possibly get rid of right now is probably Ezekiel Elliott because Tony Pollard played pretty well in split duty with Ezekiel Elliott.
You know what? I agree.
Wait, who did you say? I didn't hear that. Who'd you say?
He said Ezekiel Elliott. Trade him.
You got the depth. You got the depth at the running back position. You running backs are a dime a dozen. Me personally, I've never been a believer in giving running backs a second contract. I'm 1,000% with the owner and the front office for any NFL team. Like, you don't pay a running back 2 contracts unless that's that running back, that veteran running back that can get you over the hump to run you to a Super Bowl. But at this point, if you look at what Dak is going to put the Dallas Cowboys in after 2021, you really need to really evaluate the roster.
Mm-hmm.
Really take the time and evaluate the roster and look at some of these high price players and possibly move on from these potential high price players you could possibly end up paying a lot of money. Also, I would like to welcome in Banks again.
Happy birthday, Banks.
Happy birthday, Banks.
Happy
Everybody,
Happy birthday, brother.
Happy
everybody
birthday, sir.
in the chat, hit that like button for Banks for his birthday, please.
Hey man, what's up, everybody? You know, it wouldn't be the show without me. You do know that, right?
Yeah, the Jared Goff of the show.
Listen, but hey, don't forget, I'm writing your check. Don't forget that, all right?
Now that's DeVore writing my check.
Nah, DeVore is the COO.
All right,
But
Banks, you came in at the perfect time because we're in the process of having the discussion. Who was probably the most expendable Dallas Cowboy after the 2021 season?
Before he says anything, I was listening today on Pro Football Talk that they said a team that will make the most sense will be the Jacksonville Jaguars. Number one, they have cap room, and number two, Ezekiel Elliott will be reunited with Urban Meyer.
That's not gonna happen.
Yeah, because they fell off on a bad note. That's why Zeke left when he left. Zeke left when he left because of Urban Meyer having a different game plan in a certain game, and Zeke did not want to deal with that because they ran him all the way. You know, they just come off the national title. He came back the next year, and so I think it was this SEC championship game. They decided to just throw the ball a lot and keep him out of it or whatever, and he was upset about it. They lost, and they lost their chance of going back to back. So, yeah, Zeke
really quick.
told him he was gone.
What's up, Banks?
What was the question? What was the question again?
After the 2021 season, who was the most expendable Dallas Cowboy?
That would definitely be Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel is if he doesn't have a productive year this year, this is how important Ezekiel Elliott is to the Dallas Cowboys. If Ezekiel Elliott has another season like he forgetted him this year, they're going to forget about everything that he ever did before, and he'll be out of Dallas quick. The problem is Dallas finds themselves in a very, very tight area right now, especially when you sign Dak Prescott. They're pretty much pressed up against the cap right now. And what would be the most logical move for them to make? They're not gonna take off anybody from the defense because there's no money there. There's no room to. Ezekiel will be the only person other than what's the guy named Amari Cooper? Yeah. It's either Zeke or Amari Cooper.
And one thing,
because Dak is set.
Mm-hmm.
One thing Joe told me last year a lot was that Cooper didn't put. He said he's seen Cooper take off plays here and there. He didn't really play every down like most wide receivers.
Right, that's a good point. I want to say
because he's soft.
My night is actually.
That sucks for him.
My night is actually going to be really short, so I'm gonna just say this because of course it's my birthday, so I'm stepping out for a little bit. But I want to also welcome the two guests that we have into the show. This is my first time meeting you. I think Joe's one of
He's breaking. I can't hear him.
What you say?
Can you hear me?
You're kind of breaking up.
Breaking up.
Hold on.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Much better, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, my bad. I'm sorry about that. I'm in my car driving right now. I'm actually headed somewhere for my birthday. But listen, this is my very first time speaking to Joe. I think this is Shake's friend, right? His best friend.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My brother actually.
All right, perfect. Yeah, I understand. I told you how that go. I just want to welcome y'all guys.
Like your homeboy and brother's keeper. Like, your boy and brother's keeper.
Yo, absolutely. You talking about my other show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just want to welcome you two guys. Thank you guys for coming by the show. I think this is Joe's second time on the show.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, the only problem I got with Joe is the fact that he's a Dallas Cowboys fan. But other than that, I love the fact that he supports Dak Prescott. And our other guests on the show, man, thank you for coming by, man. I appreciate your guys coming by and helping out with the show.
No problem. No problem.
Yeah. I'm a bounce out, boys, because I'm in my car and I don't want to mess the stream up. But I'll talk to y'all boys a little bit later, man. It's nice meeting y'all. I'll check in on Saturday.
All right, do your thing, man.
All right, brother.
Again,
Be safe.
happy
Have
birthday
fun.
to Banks.
Yeah. Happy birthday again.
Yeah.
Thank y'all, man. Y'all boys take it easy. Enjoy the stream, bro. Thank y'all. Hey, DeVer, hold it down,
Thank
bro.
you,
Absolutely.
All right.
So